Okay, perfect, perfect. So in a face-to-face class, we would usually start with a fun warm-up activity, but on this one, I will trust you have warmed up yourself for this presentation, and I will just quickly introduce myself and move on to what we're going to do today. So my name is Ümit. I'm an English teacher. In fact, I work at School of Foreign Languages at a university in Turkey, but I also deliver classes in a university in Lithuania. Um, so for the past, I think, 12, 13 years, I've been doing research on educational technologies. Every time there is a new digital tool, new educational technology, I play with it, I spend time, and then if it's useful, then I put it into one of my trainings, one of my classes, workshop, or keynote speeches. And so I've been delivering a lot of seminars, webinars, this kind of things all over the world. And today, with the kind invitation by Emilia, I'm here with you to talk about how we can use AI for our research. But before we do that, I want you to take a quiz. But I will ask you to take it with me. I'm not going to send you a link, so we'll do it together. I hope everyone is ready, and you can just turn on your microphone to answer, or you can just send a reaction if that's fine by you, or you can to the chat box write A or B. So let's do it. Can you see my screen? We have a AI use in research and academic writing interactive readiness quiz. So when you use AI at the start of a research task, which approach do you choose? Do you believe, okay, I just want this to quickly get it done and run back to my things, my other fun things, and I ask AI for everything like it's a slave and start writing immediately? Okay, or option A, I take my time, read key resources, and use AI to help me understand concepts. So I can see that most of us, which is, let's see, can I have, okay, yeah, I can see that lots of us go with the A, which is the proper approach maybe. But I just want you to see what happens when we choose option B. So this is a risky shortcut, yes, but why? It's higher chance of hallucinations, and I know most of you are quite competent in AI and using digital technologies, but maybe some of the terms, and some of you haven't heard some terms that are emerging with the AI revolution. So hallucination, beyond its traditional meaning, it has a new and different meaning. It's the incorrect facts that are made up by most of the language models. So they're not entirely wrong, but the language models, based on the facts and information they have, they create new facts, and they provide it so fancy, it sounds like it's correct, but unfortunately sometimes they are not. So when we're taking this risky shortcut, this is something we need to be careful about. And then of course you may struggle to explain and defend the argument if you're taking the quick shortcut, because when we get all the information from all these different research papers and we're not focusing on it, not reading it, not taking our time to absorb the information, afterwards it's going to be quite difficult to explain or to defend these ideas. In other words, when we don't have deep engagement with the information that we are getting in, acquiring, then it's going to be very difficult to talk about it. So we have similar risky situations, consequences if we take option B. So that's why we usually go with, I suggest, let's say, the option A, taking our time, using AI to support us in our journey and helping us to understand the concepts. This part and some other parts I will be a little bit quick. The reason is because we have so many things, so many different ways that we can implement AI into our research journey and academic writing. But we have limited time. So I will try to fit in the most useful things into these 45 minutes. So this quiz, I will share it with you later. That's why I'm skipping this one. So basically, if you go with the right option, it's a stronger path for your research. And then AI gives you a citation and a claim. What do you do next? Let's see the answers to the chat box. A, I verify the claim by opening the source, check the code or data, and confirm it. Or B, I trust the citation because it looks fancy. And I say, oh, this is fancy. My supervisor is going to like this. So which one do you do? Again, I'm sure most of you will go with option A, as I can see, but I'm going to show you the risks. What happens if we take the option B? But I want you to, I'm just going to quickly tell you a story about my AI experience when I was writing my thesis. AI, at least ChatGPT, didn't exist when I was writing most of my PhD thesis, but towards the end, ChatGPT became popular and I was able to use it to gather my citations and edit them. But one thing I realized, there was a sentence and then a citation and there was a writer's name. But the problem was I had more than 500 research papers, books, articles about gamification, which is my topic for my thesis, but I had never seen that author. I said, this cannot happen because I went through many academic resources and I haven't seen this guy even one time in my life. So I checked and it was wrong. But what happens if you're not going through so many things, if you haven't already read all these resources? Then the AI could generate plausible or fake references and mix up authors. Even the real resources that you upload to AI could be cited incorrectly. And of course, it will lead to serious credibility problems, integrity issues, and of course, this will affect the whole journey. So we need to be careful about this. Every time we have a citation, we need to take precautions either before or while we're building up our research paper. So instead, what do? We verify, we protect the credibility, and we do a lot of cross checks so that everything is by the book. Moving on, how do you use AI to write paragraphs? Moving on towards AI for writing. So we ask AI to generate full sections and edit lightly to save time. This could be an option, yeah. Or you can write your own outline and key points, then use AI for revision, clarity, coherence, tone, and language support. This is one of the things that why I am supporting AI use in research papers. Because what did we do in the past? We wrote everything, but we're not experts in language, especially if it's not our first language. What do? We go to a native English speaker or a good writer of English or someone who studied English as a language, and we ask them, hey, I wrote my thesis, could you please go through it and proofread it for me. So this is exactly the thing we can do with AI, and it's perfectly fine, perfectly ethical. So what happens if you just trust on AI generated sections, which are fully written by AI? The text could be inconsistent. It could be shallow. It might just go over the same topics over and over again. Instead, you will be focusing. We will get back to this one. But instead, you will decide what is good, what is not good. You will be a critical thinker, make good judgments, and say, oh, this is good for my research, but this part is not necessary, etc. And then it could be sometimes very long, unnecessarily long, or not to the point. AI is quite wordy, it's taking a lot of words which are not needed. On the other hand, you keep the authorship and the argument ownership. It's your ideas, it's your judgment who says this comes first, this is the second, and this is the third, and this is the way it should be. So it makes you the writer. Even though you didn't formulate the sentences, maybe in some cases, you are suggesting what should be the first, second, or third idea that goes into your research, or the consequence. So the last one, before we submit, how do we handle AI-assisted content? We document this is just a quick suggestion. Of course, if you don't care, you would just not track and submit because everything looks fancy and good, then it will cause you a lot of problems, just these kind of problems. But what I suggest is to create a workflow and final verification checklist is definitely going through the whole research paper, making sure everything sounds right, and all the references are actual documents that you downloaded, that you went through, and are closely related to your aim, objective of your research. So, okay, if we are agreeing on all of this, I will now move on to what we can do, how we can use AI in our research paper. So far, we have done the quiz, and I have a question. What matters while using AI? Now that I'm giving also a lot of trainings, and I'm asking this question. Okay, now that AI is doing everything for us, it's creating images, it's making beautiful sentences, it's doing really well authorship. What matters? What is the important thing? What makes the product, the thing that you have produced, interesting to other people? I asked exactly the same question in one of my trainings at the university to the academics. I said, if you're learning everything from AI, why am I here? Because it's the critical thinking. It's the process that I go through and choose this is good for these kind of academics and this is not good. It's being critical and choosing what content should be included and what content should be eliminated. To decide whereas this paragraph is good enough or it should add some more details. Or making a good judgment, thinking, okay, so I have this data, I have this information in the graphic, so what is the consequence? What is the judgment that I make here? Is this going to affect the participants positively or negatively? So your comment, your judgment about how you use this statistical data or the literature review is what matters. And AI is never going to be able to do that. So yes, you can have them make some judgments, but it's going to be weak and it's never going to fulfill a gap in the academia. Okay, I know this is like a lot of talking, but I hope you are following. Is everyone with me so far? Good. Let me quickly have a look at the chat box to see everything is okay. So let's move on. What can we use? Of course. I have, yes, Rafa, please go. Maybe it depends on your friend. Yeah. Yeah. Good results, yes. Good judgments. Yeah. 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 That's pretty acceptable. Yes, I definitely agree with you. That is actually acceptable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think I understand the question. So you're asking, should we trust the judgment of AI because it sometimes gives us quite good results? Yes, I do exactly the same thing, and sometimes I trust the judgment of AI and I use it. But the more you are specialized in something, for general things, yes. So you can ask for coffee recommendations and it will analyze, and for a general thing it goes really well. But when you are specializing in something, for example, gamification, still vast. Gamification in education, still too general. Gamification in language learning, in digital environments, so you are very specialized. And then every single information, every single decision becomes much more important. So at that point, the, let's say, focus of AI might not be the proper thing. Then you need the person who is specialized in that. So at that point, you need to trust your judgment. But we will be discussing this more. So I'm going to move on to AI for resource finding. My recommendation, yes, I have put here some sources that you can focus on, but I will suggest my recommendation is still being manual on this. What does it mean to be manual? It means to go to the favorite database and search for the concept that you're looking for, and then download them manually. Just read and take your time, decide whether, okay, gamification and education, this is a literature review, okay, this sounds good, and I'm going to download. Usually how I do this, I use Zotero, which is note-taking, and it's the place where I control all of my research workflow, but it doesn't have to be Zotero. You can use Mendeley, Evernote, or other note-taking tools. And so I have files, and when I click on Zotero, Zotero goes through all the related things, and I choose which one I want to download, which one I don't want, and then it is added to my library, which then I read and edit. I still suggest this. Yes, you can say you are using AI for all of your work and you're still manual on this. Yes, this is what I suggest, because when I'm doing research, I need to be able to have access to all of these documents, not just trust what AI gives me. But there are some other ways that we can do, especially if this is maybe not a thesis, not a very, let's say, academic paper, but it's just a homework. It is just something that your lecturer wants you to learn and understand, and online resources, unverified resources are okay to include. Then we could go for Google Gemini, SciSpace, or Perplexity. For more academic content, I would suggest SciSpace and Perplexity, and I'm going to share this document with you as well. And when you click on the link here, you will have a more detailed understanding of how you can use SciSpace and Perplexity. I'm going to show you here now, but just a snapshot of it, and then you're going to have the full access to the video. If you decide, okay, this is what I'm looking for, this is exactly what I want, then you can go through the whole tutorials, which will take another maybe 1 hour. So what is SciSpace? SciSpace is an AI integrated note-taking library, and so it's a combination of Google Scholar, Zotero, and Microsoft Word. Everything combined here. Of course, if you want to access the whole, all of these functions, you will have to pay at some point, but doing some research or deep research is going to be free. So let's say you want to study game. Today I'm going all in with gamification because it's my favorite topic and it's the topic that I studied. Basically, I wake up and I think about gamification. So let's say gamification in higher education. This is the topic of my research, and I want a deep research. So when you want a deep research, and this is going to give you the same results in Perplexity or in Gemini. So you go with this, you hit enter. It will ask you a lot of questions. If you want a deep research, if you have a clear objective and a focus, this is what all the AI tools should do. If it's not doing it, then it's a problem. Then it's covering everything. The good thing about the two good things about SciSpace is that it's not going through all over internet, but it is going through only the academic databases. And the other good things is as soon as you start your deep search, SciSpace is going to ask you some questions. Are you working with higher education students? Which departments are you studying? Are you looking for gamification effect on engagement or achievement or motivation? What is your what are you channelized at? What are you trying to find out? What is the thesis? What is the purpose of your research? So these are all the necessary questions, critical thinking questions that AI should be asking. And then after you provide enough proper information, input, then it will start giving you all the documents. And then of course, as you can see here, you will be able to add some of these resources to your library, and then You click on AI Writer. After you get some citations, you can go to AI Writer and help. This SciSpace will help you formulate your document, etc., etc. More or less, Perplexity, Google Gemini, Deep Search will give you the same results, but you can limit your research with academic articles in SciSpace and Perplexity, whereas in Google Gemini, although you mentioned that you want to specifically focus on academic resources, there might be some problems. It might get some of the resources which are online, not verified, not academic databases. But again, what do? I create my file, AI for research and writing, and then I have the resources, and in these resources I upload all the files that I want to involve in. So, what happens next? Let's say you have downloaded or found all these resources on SciSpace or Perplexity or Google Gemini, or you manually downloaded it to your library. Now it's time to scan all this content and to understand the content. Let's say you have some documents. Let me quickly show you some documents from about gamification again. My resources, gamification. Okay. So here we have one article. It's about gamification. Okay. What do you do usually? Unfortunately, yes, this used to be the option in the past. You go through and you read it and you're trying to find what is important for you, which information is important for you. Okay, I have to admit I'm not doing this anymore. Why? Because most of the sentences here are formulated and are more or less similar to each other in every article about gamification. They say, okay, gamification is the concept that takes game elements and brings it into a non-game setting. Okay, this is the same in every other article. So some things are repeating itself all the time, and it's the same for every different topic. But what is unique? The unique thing in every article is usually the last 2-3 sentences in consequences and results section. So I don't have to read the whole document. Of course, some people might think differently, but I believe this. So what I do, I usually take 1, 2, or 3 documents, not more than 3, and then I go to Gemini. Yes, Notebook LM. Of course, it's going to be there, but we're going to use Notebook LM or something else, not scanning the content, but to acquiring the content. So I usually take 2 or 3 articles, and I go to Gemini, and I upload it here. Let's see. And I say, go through. This is very important to formulate your prompt exactly like this. Go through these documents, scan for key results, consequences, of this study. Do not change the sentences, quote them directly from the document, and cite the author and the page number, which is going to be useful. So what happens? As I said, I'm not changing it because I want to verify. I need to be able to search and find quickly that this information actually exists in these documents. Otherwise, it will read the document and summarize and give you a result that is AI thinking. It's a consequence that AI is making. So we don't want that. We want the sentences that are exactly there. What happens after that is you take all these things that are actually from this article, and then of course you go with another tree, and then you go with another tree, and then of course you have to go, depending on how big your research project is, you have to go through many articles, and then you come to a Word document and then play with this. Or in some cases, again, in my case, I use Zotero to do that. And I have all this text, and then I play with it. I say, okay, this could go here. In Zotero, it's easier to play with it and move the sentences up and down to play with it and to make a consistent, coherent order. And then we're going to, after we think, okay, this is number one thing I should mention, this is number two, this is number three, then we're going to use it for academic writing. But before we move on to academic writing, I hope this part is clear. As I said, AI is helping me get the information from the articles, but I never take the summary, never take the general insights from the text. I take exactly what author said. And then, of course, you need to understand this. This is very important. If you're not understanding something, if you don't know what gamification is, please do not write anything about it. So how do I quickly get all this information into my brain? Yes, we're a generation who learn from YouTube. So what I usually do, I go to Notebook LM, and I create a new notebook, of course, and then I upload some sources. You can discover sources here, but as I said, there's a risk that they might not be academic. So I upload some content. I'm going to show you an existing one, just to be quick, because it takes some time to create the content. So for example, this one, Digital Tools and Strategies for Classroom. So you can see I have some resources here, not entirely academic. And then I have a chat where I can discuss, ask questions about only these resources, only the resources that I downloaded, that I trust, that I think is perfect for my research. And then the good part, the beautiful part, I don't have time, right? We're busy, we're going to the gym, we're going to meet someone, we're driving, working maybe. We don't have time to sit down and read all these articles and understand the concepts. So what do? I create a podcast about educational technologies for classroom. as you can see, it's a natural podcast discussing exactly what I need. So when they are discussing, I'm absorbing all this information, which will make my hand very powerful when I'm defending my argument. Or you might say, Hojam, you might say I'm a visual learner. You can create a video overview, and it will look like something like this. So this is how I absorb the information from all of these resources. And if it's not quite clear, I create a mind map, which I created earlier, and it will show me all the different connections between these digital tools for classroom. And then this mind map is going to be interactive, so I will be able to find, okay, what digital tools can I use for collaboration and brainstorming? Oh, Padlet, Google, Miro. How about for learning management systems? We have Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams. So this is actually creating another mind map inside my brain. So I'll be more sure of what I am talking about and what I am discussing, which point is connected to what in my research paper. If you are confident about this in your mind, then everything becomes so much easier in research writing. And then, of course, if let's say, if everything is good, if you think you have understand everything, you can make some quizzes to or digital tool, flashcards, technology quiz to understand, to check your knowledge, whether you have grasped everything correctly or not. You're going to take, for example, a quiz about gamification or whatever it is that you are resourcing. Okay, we are kind of running out of time, so I will quickly give you a few more suggestions and finish up. So we have found some resources, we have scanned everything, understood concepts. I love Google Gemini because it's helping me within my documents. As you can see here, I'm using Gemini Pro, which is free for all students. And there is this button here. When I click on it, I don't have to go to ChatGPT or another screen, and I can ask them to help me do some things inside the document. Or sometimes I have a data that I want to analyze. For example, I have a school data here, parents' views about the school, and all I have to do is click here and ask Gemini to analyze this for me, and then voila, I have a perfectly well analyzed statistical information shown in a really good graphic. And then I can ask to make some content or some comments, basic results. And because the data belongs to you, and because you know how to use this data effectively, everything that is created here is going to be thrusted. So this is how I usually do very basic analysis. Of course, sometimes I have to do deep analysis like ANCOVA, but then I have to run all my data to SPSS and then or Jamovi and do my things there. And finally, I'm going to take some questions. Finally, AI for writing. When I'm using AI for writing, I never trust its own resources. Remember, I have copied some information here, and I put it in order, and some of these things I didn't like it, so I deleted it. But finally I have these consequences from different texts, from different resources that I used, I took from some resources. What I do, I choose this, only these ones, and again I go to Gemini, or my favorite text-based AI tool, and I say turn this into an academic paragraph about the consequences of gamification. At this point, your prompt is quite important because I organize all of this information as definition of gamification. Gamification effect on motivation, gamification and engagement, gamification on gamification effect on learning outcomes. So I have all these different categories, and I give my prompts based on these categories. And then it's probably giving me a text like this with all the beautiful citations that I know are correct, and I take all of this, go through it, read, and make sure there is nothing stupid, and I use it. So what happens if you take this document, I know this is the question in your mind, and you go to ZeroGPT or any other AI detector and click on detect text. This is fine. 51%. It's okay if it's 100% AI generated. It's okay. Why? Two reasons. Because I ran my own master's thesis, which I wrote in 2018 when there was no AI at all. It showed me 100% AI generated, and I swear to God, everything was written by me, and it still says AI. So these tools cannot be trusted, that's for sure. The AI detectors, I mean. The second thing is, everything you mentioned here went through your mind. You read it, you understand it, you decided whether you want this in your research paper or not, and then you put it somehow in words. Of course, it's going to be similar to other content that is available online. So this one is always going to be detected. This is fine, and most of the academic databases know this and accept this. Okay, yes, I'm going to catch my breath for some time, but hopefully everything I say, I hope it makes sense for you. There is so much more that we can talk about this and discuss, but let's focus on if you have questions. If not, this is basically what we can turn around with AI and academic writing research. Thank you for listening. I'm ready to take questions or comments.